Hey 7th graders, Miss Wentland here. I'm going to walk you through the first STP that you tried, page 10, 38 through 41. STP stands for Standardized Test Practice. And these are problems that I'm going to have you do as extensions of what we've been learning. They're going to show you what your problems will look like on the MCAs related to the concepts that we are studying. As we do them, I'm always going to give you like hints or tips on how to approach the problem that you can look at. You don't need to write all of this down. The big thing on your paper would be just to write this to identify it. So if we're going to try and find it later, you know what it is. All right? So if we take a look at the first problem, it said Rusty is evaluating this expression as shown. What should Rusty have done differently in order to evaluate the expression correctly? So you could look and see that he did something wrong, but you want to know what he did correctly. So my tip for you was to think about solving that problem or having you solve that problem on your own first. So if I take a moment and try to solve this problem, I know that I have to do multiplication and division from left to right. So the first thing I'm going to do is divide these two numbers, which would give me 32. Then I have times 4 plus 7. Now I will do my multiplication, and that 32 times 4, if I work it out in my head right now, I'm getting 128 plus 7. And then the last step would be to add 128 and 7, which is 135, which should be the correct answer. If I look up here, I can see that he did the multiplication first and got 12, when he should have really done the division first. So now I have to look and say, which one of these show that you divide, then multiply, then add? Well, they kind of write it in a funny way. And the answer to this one should have been C. Because what we did is we multiplied this division by 4, and then we added 7. So C is the correct way to solve this problem. It's what Rusty should have done. Number 39 asked you to evaluate the expression. So remember, evaluate means to solve. So you needed to use your algebra and see if you could solve and get one of the solutions that was here. So I'm going to start with the innermost parentheses. And 6 minus 2 is 4. Then I'll bring down all the other parts. Inside the brackets, I need to then do order of operations, which means I'm going to move on to the division. And 4 divided by 4 is 1. Now I'm going to finish what's inside the brackets, and 12 minus 1 is 11. And 7 times 11 is 77. Is that a choice up here? Yep. So then there's a good chance I got the right answer for that one. All right. Number 40 and 41 went back to your expressions. And so in 40, you just had to answer it, but you also got to read carefully. And I know you've been practicing reading questions in English and understanding what they're asking. So this said, a man is a musician. He charges $50 for the first 3 hours and $24.95 for each additional hour. Which expression, ooh, look at that word, cannot be used to find the total amount of charges if he played for 7 hours? Well, if I think about 7 hours, I know the first 3 are 50, so that would be 3 times 50 would be the expression. And then after that, I would add for each additional hours. Well, how many additional hours does he have over 3 if he did it for 7 hours? That would be 4 additional hours. That would be $24.95 a piece. So now I have to look and see which one of these cannot be used. So which one of these are not like this? Well, what I wrote here is identical to D, so I can get rid of that. And also very identical to A. They just have 2 different ways of writing the multiplication. Now I have to choose between B and C. And C, I can see that I still have my 3 50s, and then 4 times $24.95. They just didn't write it as a multiplication problem. B would be then the one that cannot be used. for it because they were multiplying both prices just by the 7 hours. If you struggle with writing expressions, another tip for this that you could do would be if you were to go back and actually put all of these in your calculator, these ones would all get the same answer, whereas the one that cannot would give you a different answer if you put it in your calculator. You'd get a different solution to the problem. So that's a way that when it cannot, could be a good test-taking strategy to try. In 41, it says Max wants to buy 5 hats and 4 t-shirts. They want you to write an expression. So basically they want you to write something like this to find the cost of 5 hats and 4 t-shirts. Well, 5 hats would be times 15 because they're $15 a piece. And then the 4 t-shirts would be $20 a piece. And to find the total cost, I would add these together. So your expression should look something like this. 5 times 15 plus 4 times 20. We did not have to solve it because it didn't say to evaluate it. It simply just said to write the expression. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions or things like this. This is our first STP, practicing combining that reading with the concepts that we're learning in math. I'm looking for you to give them your best effort and try them because they will occasionally pop up on some of your formatives and summatives as well. So you want to make sure that you are at least listening to them and working to understand each of them. All right? Have a great day, Purple.